Welcome. This video is going to walk you through hunting down an IP address to figure out what port it is in a switch. Now here's our target down here, and we're not sure what switch or how many switches between it and the target. And what I want to show you is if this was you and you're on a routed core or a routed network, if you ping it from your machine, you will not get the MAC address of this target, which is needed to figure out what port it's on. You will get the MAC address of the gateway, which is likely living on the core. So you have to either be on the network it's on and ping it from there, or most of the time I just use the routing core because it's the gateway for that network and it would have the 10.197.157.1. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start out with that. Okay, so I've go ahead and log in here. What I'm going to do is I'll do show IP int brief pipe include, and to remind you, we're 10.197.157. So I'm going to include 10.197.157, and just to see if I have an IP address on that VLAN. If I don't on this machine, it will not ARP for the correct core. So that's step number one. So in fact, our core has an IP address for that VLAN, which I already knew, but I wanted to show it to in the video. So the next thing is to ping for our target address, 10.197.157.79, and that will populate the ARP table. The only purpose of populating the ARP table is to get the MAC address. We only need to do this once, so we have the accurate MAC address. So I'll do show ARP pipe include the IP address, 10.197.157.79. And there's our MAC address. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to record it down here so we have it. And it looks like our MAC address ends in 9326. So I'm going to figure out, using that, what port it goes out. So on the core, I do show MAC address table, pipe include, and I'll just do the last three digits, 9326. Now if you get more than one entry, if you get lots of entries, it's unlikely, but you can always trim it down and add more of the MAC address. So I'll hit enter there, and you can see this is VLAN 3112, the MAC address. However, it's tied to a port channel. So I need to know what's in the port channel to follow this out. So I do show ether channel sum, and I'm going to look at port channel 14. Then I'll bring this up into the screen, and we can see port 14 is gig 156 and 256. So what we can say is on our diagram out this way, 156 and 256 is the exit of the core. So why do I need that? Because I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to do show CDP neighbors, pipe include 156, which shows me Stevenson 3750, and I also double check it, 256. So I can see that's a particular switch. Now, off the top of my head, I don't know the IP address of that, so I can do show CDP entry and put the name in there and pull out the IP address from one of the two entries. There's an entry for each port it's uplinked on, so I now know this switch is there. Okay? I'm not really worried about what ingress interface it follows. I'm only worried about the egress, so I can follow this out. So we're going to go to this switch next. So I'm going to go jump to that switch and log in. And I'm going to show MAC address table and 9326. Oops, I gotta put the include. And there I have it. So it's showing it goes out port 106. It's not an ether channel. So I will paste my path in here, 106. Let's find out if that goes to a switch. Show CDP neighbors, pipe include 106, and it does. It goes to this switch. So we have another switch in the middle here. Let me find out the show CDP entry, the IP address of this switch, is .14. So there you go. Now I got to jump into this switch. Show MAC address table. Pipe include 9326. And it shows on a particular port, F017. So I'll put that in there. Obviously you don't have to document this, I'm doing it for the sake of the illustration. So that exits there. Let's make sure there's no other switches. Show CDP neighbor, sorry. Pipe include 017. There are none. So there could also be the case where somebody puts an unmanaged hub or something that doesn't talk to CDP. So what I do is I do a show MAC address table pipe, and instead of including the MAC address of the target we're looking for, I'm going to include the port. So I'm just going to put 0/17. The reason is I want to see if this comes up with one MAC address or more than one. If it's one MAC address, it's probably on the end of the device. If there's more than one MAC address, there's another switch there that might be not managed or not managed through CDP. So I got one entry, it's the correct MAC address, it's on the right port. If I do show run pipe, show run int F017, I can actually see this is your camera, this is your target, and it's the correct port, and that's the port where your target is. So he's on port 17, and we now have the target as a camera. There you go. And that's how you trace out through it. Now you got a map of where that guy is. So hopefully that helps. I hope you enjoyed it.